Most people scroll right past 9 psychology hacks that'll change your life because their brain flags it as clickbait. But here's the secret. You're actually suffering from a change illusion bias. You aren't looking for real advice. You're looking for a dopamine hit that makes you feel like you've improved without actually doing the work. It's a classic mental trap designed to keep you addicted to the idea of progress rather than the reality of it. Welcome to Psychology Decoded. Today, we're exposing the psychological triggers behind these viral headlines and why your brain craves them. Think your constant habit of saying yes makes you a team player? Think again. In reality, it's a silent signal that you have zero boundaries, effectively screaming to everyone that your time is cheap. Welcome to Psychology Decoded. Today, we're looking at the principle of a pause before saying yes. This isn't about being difficult, it's a behavioral clue regarding your perceived status. When you respond instantly, you trigger a cognitive bias known as the availability heuristic. People value things that seem scarce, not things that are readily available. By jumping at every request, you label yourself as a commodity, not an asset. When you offer that deliberate pause, you're leveraging the scarcity principle. That small gap between a request and your response signals that your time is a finite, high-value resource. It forces the other person to reevaluate their ask and, consequently, your importance in the social hierarchy. It flips the dynamic from passive compliance to active negotiation. You might feel like you're being rude, but you're actually teaching people how to treat you. In your career, this is the difference between being the go-to person for grunt work and being the high-level strategist whose time is actually respected. Stop devaluing yourself with automatic agreement. Next time you're asked for a favor, a job, or an invite, just stop. Take a breath. Tell them, "Let me think about it." Watch their demeanor shift immediately. You'll stop being the person who is always available and start being the person who is truly valued. It's not just a polite social delay, it's a tactical move to reclaim your autonomy. Master the pause and you master the room. You're in control now.
Ever feel like your entire month just vanished in the blink of an eye? You're not just busy, you're a victim of your own routine. Your brain is a master of efficiency. And when life becomes a repetitive blur of the same commute and the same screens, it stops recording new data. It essentially archives your days into a single, forgettable file. Now, we're hacking your perception of reality with the time expansion hack. This isn't science fiction, it's behavioral clues about how your consciousness processes memory. When you live on autopilot, your brain enters a state of extreme economy, discarding familiar details to save energy. This is why childhood summers felt like they lasted forever. Your brain was constantly logging new information, stretching your perception of time. As an adult, monotony is the thief of your lifespan. The psychological principle here is the oddball effect and memory encoding. By introducing novelty, even something as small as taking a different route to work or trying a new coffee shop, you force your brain to switch from passive to active mode. You're essentially flooding your neural circuits with fresh data, which requires more intensive processing. Because you're storing more details, your subjective experience of time slows down. The takeaway? If you want a longer, more meaningful life, stop living on repeat. Your financial success and emotional well-being depend on your ability to stay present, not just productive. Break the cycle. Disrupt your patterns daily to ensure your brain is fully awake. When you stop taking the same path, you're not just changing your routine, you're literally expanding the length of your life. Stop sleepwalking through your weeks. Start building memories that actually stick. Take the leap, break the pattern, and reclaim your time today.
Think your anxiety is a permanent part of your personality? You've been lied to. That heavy, suffocating dread you feel isn't you. It's just a rogue, uninvited guest hijacking your mental real estate. By treating your anxious thoughts as serious, deep-seated truths, you're actually fueling them. You're giving them a seat at the table instead of kicking them out the door. Now, we're unpacking a game-changing mental trick. Give your anxiety a stupid name. This is a behavioral clue into a powerful technique called cognitive diffusion. When you're caught in an overthinking spiral, your brain creates a false reality where your fears are facts. By naming that voice something ridiculous, like Gilbert or Pubert, you're performing a radical psychological shift. You're moving from being merged with your anxiety to being an observer of it. The principle at play here is simple. You cannot be terrified of something you are actively mocking. When you label your panic as Pubert's nonsense, you instantly strip away the perceived danger. It forces your prefrontal cortex, the logical, rational part of your brain, to regain command from your panicked amygdala. This isn't just about feeling better in the moment. It's about reclaiming your executive function. Every time you externalize that anxious voice, you weaken its grip on your decision-making. Whether it's a high-stakes meeting or a tough financial call, don't let your fear dictate your moves. Name it, shame it, and silence the noise. By turning your internal chaos into a joke, you stop being a victim of your own thoughts and start acting like the boss of your own mind. It is time to take your power back, for good.
Ever feel like everything is going wrong? You're not just having a bad day, you're actively building one. Your brain is a world-class conspiracy theorist, constantly hunting for proof to back up whatever you already believe. If you go into a meeting convinced you'll fail, you've already sabotaged the outcome before you even walk through the door. Now, we're unpacking a game-changing insight of the expectation effect hack. This isn't just positive thinking, it's a behavioral clue about your brain's primary operating system. The core principle at play is selective attention bias. Your mind is hit with millions of data points every second, but it can only focus on a fraction. To manage this, your brain filters out anything that conflicts with your current expectations. If you expect a social event to be boring, your brain will highlight every awkward silence while ignoring every genuine connection. You're literally creating your own reality based on your subconscious forecasts. The takeaway here is massive. You can hack your life by intentionally priming your brain. Before a high-stakes call, a first date, or a tough negotiation, tell yourself, this will go well. Your brain will instantly shift its filters, seeking out opportunities instead of threats. Stop waiting for life to get better. Start directing your attention. When you change your expectations, you force your mind to uncover evidence of success that was there all along. It's not about ignoring reality. It's about choosing which version of reality you're going to focus on. Stop letting your brain sabotage your potential. Start programming your expectations today and watch how your world shifts to match your new mindset. Take command, change your focus, and own your outcome. Think your anger, sadness, or frustration is an uncontrollable force of nature? You've been misled. That emotional fire you feel isn't burning because of the situation. It's burning because you're pouring gasoline on it with your own mind. You are the architect of your own misery by choosing to dwell on the why. Let's break down the 90-second rule. This is a behavioral clue regarding your neurobiology. In its raw form, a chemical emotion in your body has a lifespan of roughly 90 seconds. If you're still feeling that fury or sadness 10 minutes later, that's not the original emotion. That's you re-triggering it through a continuous loop of mental storytelling. The principle at play is emotional regulation. When you're upset, your brain creates a narrative to justify the feeling. You analyze, you blame, and you ruminate, effectively resetting the 90-second biological clock every single time. By attaching a story to the raw sensation, you transition from a fleeting physical experience to a sustained, painful psychological state. The takeaway? Stop feeding the beast. When a sharp negative emotion hits you, observe it, but don't narrate it. Let the sensation wash over you without trying to rationalize, justify, or obsess over it. After 90 seconds, the physical wave will naturally dissipate, leaving you clear-headed and in control. This is the master key to emotional resilience, whether you're navigating a high-pressure career move or a rocky relationship. Stop fueling the fire with your thoughts and watch how quickly the heat vanishes. You are not your emotions. You are the one who chooses whether to keep them. Master the pause and regain your peace.
Think music is just background noise for your commute? Think again. You're missing out on the most potent, free, and accessible chemical hack available for your brain, the Tory trigger. Let's unpack the music prescription. This is a behavioral clue into the concept of neuroentrainment. Music isn't just aesthetic, it's a rhythmic signal that your brain interprets as a command. When you listen to your favorite tracks, you're not just hearing sound, you're actively inducing a state change in your nervous system. By flooding your system with endorphins and dopamine, you are essentially rewriting your internal chemistry in real time. The core principle here is neurochemical regulation. Your brain is designed to sync with environmental stimuli. When you strategically curate your soundscape, you're bypassing the tedious, slow-moving process of traditional mood regulation. You're deploying a rapid-fire chemical intervention that lowers your stress hormones and shifts your body from a state of fight or flight to a state of flow. The takeaway is clear. Stop relying on sheer willpower to pull yourself out of a rut. Build a music prescription for your specific goals. Need focus? Use high-tempo instrumentals. Need to kill anxiety? Use calming rhythms. You're not just listening to songs, you're managing your biological hardware. Take control of your mental environment by choosing what you feed your ears. It is the easiest, most effective tool you have for high-performance living. Use it to shift your state, boost your mood, and dominate your day. It's time to start prescribing your own soundtrack. Think your memories of last week are accurate highlight reel? Think again. Your brain is a lazy editor that couldn't care less about the facts. Instead of logging every second, it skips the nuance and only keeps two things: the absolute peak and the very end. Let's break your perception with the peak end rule. This is a behavioral clue into how your consciousness stores experience. Your mind doesn't average your day. It assigns value based on the most intense moment and how it finishes. This is why a perfectly good vacation can be tainted by a bad flight home, or a stressful project can be remembered fondly if the final result is a huge win. The underlying principle here is memory bias. By strategically choosing to end your days with something positive, like a gratitude list, a favorite song, or celebrating a small win, you're literally tricking your brain into rewriting your history. You are forcing your mind to label the entire day as a success, regardless of the hurdles you faced during the grind. The takeaway? Your happiness is not just about what happens to you, but how you script the finale. Stop letting the chaos of the day define your narrative. Whether it's in your business or in your relationships, curate the ending. End on a high note, and your brain will handle the rest, leaving you with a richer, more positive view of your own life. Stop letting your memory lie to you. Start taking control of it.
Think you need more discipline to finally crush your to-do list? You're fighting a losing battle. Willpower is a finite, unreliable resource, and relying on it is why you're still procrastinating on your most important goals. Your brain is wired to avoid pain and seek pleasure, so stop trying to white-knuckle your way through the grind and start hacking your biology instead. Now we're unpacking a game-changing theory of dopamine anchoring. This is a behavioral clue into associative learning. When you constantly force yourself to do tasks you hate in a sterile, miserable environment, you're training your brain to dread the work. You've created a negative feedback loop where your neural circuits activate avoidance the moment you even think about starting. By using dopamine anchoring, you're flipping the switch. You're intentionally pairing a high-pleasure stimulus like your favorite music, a premium coffee, or a perfectly comfortable workspace with the task you've been avoiding. Over time, you aren't just tolerating the work, you're literally rewiring your brain to associate the effort with the reward. You're hijacking your own reward system. The takeaway? Stop being a martyr for productivity. Start engineering your environment to work for you, not against you. Whether it's that massive financial report or a difficult conversation you've been putting off, find your anchor. Once you've linked your focus with a positive stimulus, the resistance naturally melts away. You'll stop needing raw willpower because your brain will start craving the session itself. Don't just work harder, work smarter by making your brain your biggest ally. Take control of your neural pathways, anchor your success, and watch your output skyrocket. Think having endless options is the key to freedom? You're actually trapping yourself in a cycle of paralysis. Most people assume that more choice equals more happiness, but in reality, an abundance of options is the fastest way to trigger total mental gridlock. You aren't free, you're just overwhelmed. Welcome to Psychology Decoded. Today, we're unpacking a crucial mental framework from the paradox of choice. This is a behavioral clue into decision fatigue. When your brain is hit with too many choices, it hits a cognitive wall. Instead of picking the best option, you end up feeling stressed, anxious, and eventually you stop deciding altogether. You're burning precious mental energy trying to evaluate every possibility, leaving you exhausted before you've even started. The psychological principle here is cognitive load management. Your prefrontal cortex has a finite amount of bandwidth. When you artificially narrow your choices down to just two, you bypass that internal noise and force a conclusion. You're trading the illusion of total freedom for the reality of effective, stress-free action. Whether you're managing your finances, choosing a career path, or just planning your evening, stop hunting for the perfect option. Start narrowing your focus to binary choices. It's not about limiting your life, it's about optimizing your output. When you cut the clutter, you reclaim your agency and start moving forward with speed and confidence. Stop letting options paralyze you. Choose two, commit to one, and get moving. You'll be surprised at how much faster you achieve your goals when you stop wrestling with the buffet of possibilities and start picking a direction. Clarity is a choice you make, not something you find in the chaos. Have you ever felt paralyzed by having too many choices in your career or daily life? Tell me in the comments, what's one area where you're currently stuck and how can you narrow it down to just two options today? Let's break that decision paralysis together. I'm reading every response.